I filed a few lawsuits, and I'm in the court now because they accuse me of doing stuff that I never did in my life. And they wrote...
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all
That's a
agree on
given.
that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She's destroyed the Rose Garden.
If you were scrolling through social media recently, you might have seen people freaking out over claims that Melania Trump had won a $900 million defamation lawsuit against The View and Sunny Hostin. Crazy, right? Well, that never actually happened. You and I both know the internet loves drama, and this one took off fast. But fact checkers shut it down real quick. PolitiFact, who literally digs through legal records for a living, found zero evidence that Melania even filed a lawsuit, let alone won a massive settlement. That didn't stop people from running with the story, though. And when I say people, I also mean hosts, who run podcasts on YouTube like Joe Rogan, who stepped in. You know he wasn't going to let an opportunity like this slide. Even though the lawsuit was fake, he still took the chance to rip into The View and specifically taunt Sunny Hostin.
If you average out The View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sunny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought.
As you may heard,
We know he has called out The View many times.
Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
You know, that's what I think. The other ones, there's a couple of the other ones don't have to name any names. Who are just very dull-minded. But I think Sunny's not one of them. I think she's smart but captured.
But what was the context of this? This whole situation is a perfect example of how the internet twists reality. So let's back up. Joe Rogan recently called out Sunny Hostin, but not because of Melania Trump, but because she tried to attack Coleman Hughes on The View when they were discussing racial identity and politics. If you haven't seen that clip, it was tense. Sunny basically misrepresented Coleman's views on race.
I mean, it is a rabies-infested hen house.
He straight up called it a rabies-infested hen house and mocked Sunny Hostin on his podcast. He pointed out that the show is basically an ideological bubble where only one narrative is really welcome. And honestly, after watching the way she treated Coleman Hughes, he's not wrong. If you've ever seen The View, you know exactly what he's talking about. Anytime a conservative guest comes on, it's like they're walking into a surprise attack. That was the actual controversy. But what's exhausting is that some old clip of Rogan talking about media bias got recycled and slapped onto the fake Melania lawsuit story. And now, suddenly people thought he was mocking Sunny over a defamation case that doesn't even exist. Which brings up a big question. What on earth are you even supposed to believe anymore? The internet doesn't just spread news, it remixes it, chops it up, and spits it back out in a way that fits whatever narrative people want to push. And sure, a lot of people are saying this is karma for Sunny, that after she tried to corner Coleman Hughes, the internet turned against her. But does that justify spreading complete lies? Some YouTube channels spread videos using clips from 2016 of Melania's old interviews and editing them with Joe Rogan's recent podcast rants to make it look like Melania actually filed a lawsuit against Sunny. Like, what? That literally never happened. But that's not all. Other people, famous influencers, got into it too quickly, calling Sunny out. Twitter, or X, whatever Elon wants us to call it now, was on fire with reactions, calling this her karma and whatnot. So what does this tell us? First, we all need to double check what we see online. Second, Joe Rogan doesn't need an actual lawsuit to go off on mainstream media. And third, people will twist anything for clicks, even old Melania interviews. But there is actually her karma happening right now.
Mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue.
Sunny Hostin has found herself in the middle of yet another controversy. But this time, it's not just about what she said, it's about what's happening in her own home. While the internet was running wild with the fake story about Melania Trump suing The View, the real legal drama was in her home with her husband. And no, it had nothing to do with Melania. Instead, it was Sunny's husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, facing serious fraud accusations in a federal lawsuit. Sunny tried to accuse Melania of her alleged beliefs, but there was no lawsuit. That was totally fake. It had everyone fooled. While the internet was busy running with that nonsense, Sunny Hostin's husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, got hit with a serious federal lawsuit, and somehow barely anyone's talking about it. Dr. Hostin, who's a well-known orthopedic surgeon, has been accused of being part of a massive insurance fraud scheme. The American Transit Insurance Company claims he, along with nearly 200 other doctors, was billing for unnecessary medical procedures and getting payments disguised as dividends or bonuses. Sounds bad, right? Well, Sunny isn't having any of it.
Want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
You and I both know that Sunny has never been one to hold back. She's made a name for herself calling out public figures, from politicians to billionaires, and she's never been afraid to stir the pot. But suddenly, when the heat is on her own family, she's calling it a disgusting smear campaign. Interesting, right? It's almost like she doesn't like being on the receiving end of the same media scrutiny she dishes out. She's calling BS on the whole thing, saying this lawsuit is nothing more than a disgusting smear campaign against her family. According to her, the insurance company is just trying to dodge its financial responsibilities by dragging her husband into a fake scandal. And honestly, that wouldn't be shocking. We've seen powerful companies pull moves like this before to avoid paying out money. Sunny and her husband aren't just sitting back and taking it. They've lawyered up with Mark Garagos, that Mark Garagos and legal expert Daniel Thwaites to fight back. They're threatening a $5 million defamation lawsuit unless the company drops the fraud accusations, pays Dr. Hostin what they owe him, and issues a public apology. They're going all in, and honestly, I can't blame them. But the real issue here, no one's paying attention. Despite this lawsuit being a big deal, it's getting completely overshadowed by fake news. Instead of covering Dr. Hostin's actual legal battle, the media got distracted by a made-up Melania Trump lawsuit, something that wasn't even real. And that's the problem. How did a completely fake lawsuit become bigger news than a real one? I don't know about you, but that's kind of terrifying. Whether you love or hate Sunny Hostin, you have to admit, the way this is played out raises a pretty big question. Are we even paying attention to real scandals anymore? Or are we just chasing whatever drama looks the best in a headline? Or was this a PR move by Sunny? Think about it. The moment this fake lawsuit started trending, Sunny, silent. No comment. Not even a little Instagram story to say, "Hey guys, this is nonsense, the lawsuit is not real." And her co-hosts, Whoopi, Joy, the rest of the View crew, dead silent too. Which, let's be real, is kinda weird considering how fast they usually jump on defending each other. But I get it, if you even acknowledge the drama, you're just giving it more life. Still, you'd think someone on The View would at least say, hey, don't believe everything you see online. This whole thing was never just about a fake lawsuit. It was about a much bigger battle, Joe Rogan versus The View. If you've been paying attention, you know these two sides have been clashing for years. Rogan calls them out for being hypocritical, they take shots at him whenever they get the chance, and the cycle just keeps going. This was just another chapter in their never-ending feud, and honestly, I don't see it stopping anytime soon. Joe Rogan didn't even need the fake Melania story to call out The View. He's been doing that for years. And Sunny? Well, she's learning what it feels like to be on the other side of media drama. So, what's next? Will Sunny finally speak up and set the record straight? I don't see that happening. Or is this just another example of how the internet runs with whatever narrative gets the most clicks? Either way, one thing's for sure, this isn't the last time we'll see mainstream media and independent voices like Rogan clashing over the truth.